Hi, so I just realized I had to last minute switch controller ports. Anyways, this is... give it a moment.
Jikkyou!
Yeah, we got this one.
Oshaberi Parodius!
So I actually don't know how you pronounce it. It's Jikkyou Oshaberi Parodius is how I usually say it. This is the PlayStation 1 version of the game, Forever With Me. And I am actually playing it on original hardware, so that's cool. So let's just hop right on in. So let's take a look at my settings. Mostly default, I have roulettes on display rather than just being on, and you'll see what that means in a second. I don't really want to show the accident stages, so I won't do that. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know what the heck some of those other settings are, so we'll just kind of go with it. And start there. So I'm going to be playing as Sue. Alright, so right out of the gate, you're going to see that this game is, well, it's another Parodius game, but you're going to see that this game is kind of unique among the Parodius games. First of all, there are hidden fairies throughout the game that give you 10,000 points each, and they boost your score by a crap ton. So the main gimmick of this particular Parodius game is that the entire game is like being commentated by some Japanese talk show host. The translated name for this game is a live chattering Parodius. And so you'll hear the Japanese announcer kind of saying a bunch of random crap. But other than that, it's pretty much just Parodius. If you know anything about these games, you know what we're in for. Oh, I got some good old-fashioned Casey and the Sunshine Band. I'm really hoping this doesn't get the stream like copyrighted or anything, but yeah, there's actually very few classical music arrangements in this game. A lot of this game takes inspiration mostly from other Konami games. You'll see some other Konami references. I'm not as well versed in like the Konami lore as some other people might be, but I'm sure you'll pick up on a few things. Yeah, so the reason why I play with Sue, Sue pretty much just has the same weapon loadout as the Vic Viper, but she uses the, she has sort of a reverse power-up order. I don't normally like using those kinds of reverse power-up orders, but especially because this game already just spams you with power-up capsules and bells everywhere, so it really doesn't make a difference. But, you know, I just like playing as Sue, and really none of the other characters fit my preferences, so. I also like Sue's character theme, and yes, that does factor into whether or not I choose to play as a character. I like that. So, I always like to kind of refer to this game as really just like an expansion pack for Gokujo Parodius, because this game is very, very similar to that in many regards. Like, this first stage, you'll notice, has a lot of references to Gokujo Stage 1, if you're familiar with that game. Case in point, here comes this giant sign again. Okay. Now we're coming up on the first bosses. First we have the... I actually am not as familiar with the names of the bosses in this game, so I don't know a lot of them. But here's a mirror ball. You just kind of shoot it. And one of the cool things about Sue's laser is that if you're firing it at a multi-hit enemy like this, then you just get a continuous stream of laser, which means you're just constantly doing damage to it. It makes it somewhat overpowered in that regard, but it does have its limitations. And then we have this thing that was originally in Gokujo Parodius, but is making a comeback of sorts here. In Gokuja Parodius, the panda's name was Anna, or Anna, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I don't know what his name is in this game. So this game was originally released on the Super Nintendo, and I believe at last Shmuptember this game was actually shown off. The SNES version was shown off there. This version is a lot more refined than that version. For one thing, the music has taken a significant improvement in quality. Also, the SNES version had a handful of flaws that are mostly corrected on this version, namely with bosses. And I'll talk about some of those differences as we go through the game. It also has a few added features, like a couple of omake stages that you can play for fun and whatnot. And also, it has the accident stages, which I'm not playing for this run, because I don't feel like it, and I haven't played them in a long time. But you've probably already picked up on the fact that I'm only in the second stage and I already have 300,000 points and my high score is 10 million points. It is way too easy to rack up super high scores in this game because, for one thing, you just get a bunch of score by just blowing everything up in general. There are so many bell spawning enemies, like every single stage has one of these types of enemies that always spawn 6 bells. So that's like, if it with a perfect bell chain, that's automatically like, that's automatically like 60,000 points. Then there's also the fairies that give 10,000 each, and then to make things even better, you can get some bonuses by blowing stuff up with blue bells. And I'm gonna try to show off a few of those. So I'm gonna try to get this little bully there. If you get that, then you get 10,000 points. So, I'm going to use the blue bell here to blow up that penguin, as well as that little thing that was on top of that Moai statue, and that netted me 10,000 points. Because you really only want to use the blue bell bombs if it will net you more than 10,000 points, so you'll only see me use it in a few locations. But you can use it on a lot of things in this game to get like tiny score bonuses that you wouldn't normally be able to destroy. So there's actually a way to get a vocal version of the song to play during the stage, but I have no idea what the code for it is. I only just recently started playing this on PS1. Now we have a bunch of schoolgirl boys. Because, you know, yes. Now, low point challenge, exactly. Imagine. Like, even without, like, perfect bell chains, it's still easy to score just over 1 million points by the end of Loop 1. Also, in the SNES version, you have limited extends. You can only get up to 10 extra lives, after which you can't get any more. This version has no cap on extra lives. I'm not kidding you when I say you can have, like, 20 lives in reserve by the end of Loop 1. And that just compounds the further and further you go into the game. Which unfortunately makes high score runs a bit more of like an endurance test rather than a survival test. Because you can just kind of brute force your way through a bunch of the game. So we're gonna get a couple more fairies here. Some of these fairies are hidden in pretty bad locations, like this one is nearly impossible to get without a bell power. Because even if you unlock it, the fairy just does not want to come to you. There should be another fairy right over here. Yeah, it's I don't know, I don't even really know anything about Tokimiki. I just know that it's a reference to something that has that name in it. The pacing in this game is unfortunately kind of slow. It's even worse in the SNES version because of losses, and also because that version is plagued with slowdown, which obviously isn't a problem on. Okay, I did not want to force speed up there. Well, now I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, when I did my high score run of this semi-recently, by the time I got to loop 5, I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. So, this run is pretty much guaranteed to be a 1cc for that very reason. Obviously, I'm going to try to make as few mistakes as possible. That doesn't help. And the reason why I'm getting a blue bell is that I can net just a tiny bit of score by blowing up something on the boss fight. I'd like to... I don't think I can get the missile, actually. Unless I can get it right here. So those 2 deaths basically mean, like, nothing in the grand scheme of things. So I'm going to use this blue bell to blow up all those corn things that are surrounding this boss. And there's 12 of them, so that just barely nets me over 10,000 points. And this boss is kind of weird. So these are gigantic statues of Hikaru-chan and Akane-chan, I don't know how you pronounce it, who are actually playable characters in both Gokujo and Sexy Parodius. Okay, I might have made a mistake when we put it in. And this boss has an entirely different attack pattern in the SNES version. I'm playing it kind of safe here because I don't want to die again. Alright. Super easy to dodge that final attack. Yeah, these games are very absurd, is the word I like to use. Alright, I'm actually so not confident that I'm actually going to try to get the force field right away here. Stage 3 is personally one of my favorite songs in the game. And it's an entirely Twinbee themed stage. And Twinbee and Winbee are actually both playable characters in most of the Parodius games as well. In fact, the bells are entirely a Twinbee reference. Alright, so I'm gonna play kind of risky here and go for blue bell strategies. You can use blue bells to blow up a bunch of stuff in this first part of the level and get like super big bonuses, and also every single cloud has a bell, so... But it's super, super hard to utilize effectively because with Su, bell control is like near impossible. I'm gonna get a pretty big bonus there. Oh, I missed it. I missed my opportunity for a blue bell. I could have gotten a really big bonus there, but I still was able to show off a couple of those. So the card enemies give like 10,000 points each, and all of those air balloons give 5,000. So you can very easily net quite a bit of score there. It's also hard to just get through there without dropping any bells in general. So I'd say overall that's still one okay. I'm using the double here to make bell control a little bit easier. Because I want a blue bell for the bosses here, just to, again, net a little bit more score. You don't really need to do these blue bell strategies, I'm just showing them off, because, you know, Marathon is supposed to be a showcase exhibition of sorts. By the way, I'm just pointing out, you're probably noticing I'm just grabbing a bunch of fairies and not even knowing anything about them. Their locations are static. There's 70 in total, but I'm definitely not going to be getting all of them. So, I'm not entirely sure what this boss is supposed to be. But we have a sub-boss here. This is known as a Black Twin Bee. I actually know the name of this thing. And that's the fight. Even without that blue bell, the fight is ridiculously easy. And then the boss is known as a Bow Twin Bee. And let me just say, well, I think you get the idea. I think you get what Konami was going for there. Yeah. Konami may have went a little bit to the extremes here. Not like super explicit, but you know, very, very Japanese is all I'm going to say. Now we have stage 4, which is basically just a love letter to the Gambear Go Man series, whatever the heck that's supposed to be. I'm gonna try to get another blue bell here. I just dropped the bell. Oh well. I can blow up those two things to get a net of 10,000 points. If I can get another blue bell, that actually would be kind of sick. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the double here, because I don't know if I'll get an opportunity to do it later. You can blow up those two things for another net of 10,000 points, but I couldn't get a blue bell, so I'm just not gonna go for it. So all 3 of those purple capsules are roulettes, and I have a setting turned on that has those capsules show up that way, so you know which ones they are. The roulettes actually move kind of slow in this game, but I'm still gonna try not to pick any of them up because no. And then here we have a bunch of hammers reminiscent of stage 6 from Jikkyou Parodius. We actually have quite a few of the fairies here, but they never like to go near you after being freed, so it's pretty hard to collect them. And then there's, whatever this is supposed to be. I still am not entirely sure. We got a bunch of cannons falling into a a bunch of cannons falling into a penguin. Yes, a bunch of penguins falling into a cannon. Switching back to the double because I really want to be able to fire upwards in this next section. I don't know where the ferry is here. It's like right here, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay. But if this game was even more Japanese, I am terrified to know what that would be like. Although, it probably wouldn't be much worse than Sexy Parodius. Sexy Parodius, like, as the name implies, takes it to the extreme. There's 5 fairies hidden in this cookie, I guess. I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what this game is supposed to be. I just stopped questioning it. And then we have miniature Gradius bosses that act as like samurais coming out of the wall. Standard stuff, you know. And for the final section, we have a bunch of dice, and if you're able to get them to actually match, then you can actually get some bonuses there, but you usually just shoot your way through. Alright, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a force field in time for this fight. I don't remember there's 1 or 2 power capsules here. There's 2, and both of them were capsules. Okay, good. So here's a boss that got a massive rework between the SNES and Forever With Me versions. This is Goemon Compact. On the SNES version, this boss takes forever and is literally the exact same thing over and over again. And it is not a hard fight. And it is also plagued with slowdown, so you get like the trifecta. And also bosses have way too many invincibility frames. And it's even worse on the SNES. So this boss is slightly less atrocious here. I'm not kidding when I say this fight on the SNES takes like 3 minutes. And it really does not deserve to take that long. Like, and it's the exact same thing over and over again. There. So, way better on this version. Also, I'm just past the halfway point in the game, and I'm already at 1.5 million. Just pointing that out as well. Alright, I'm gonna get, so I'm gonna try to get some bluebells here, not for score, but for safety. As this stage can get really, really tight at times, and I just like to have the extra precaution. Yeah, it's impossible to get the right bell color with Sue's laser. This stage is supposed to be a candy-themed stage. kind of takes, again, some light inspiration, and by light I mean it's very stylistically similar to Stage 3 from Gokujo. There's pretty much stuff flying at you all the time. Okay, that was sad. Yeah, this is a stage I rarely get through without dying, because the stage is just super, super annoying. Those grapefruit are like the worst things ever. There's the fairy. I'd say Sue is at a pretty big disadvantage in this stage, honestly. But the grapefruits in the SNES version were actually balloons. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. So I'm not struggling nearly as much. I probably dropped a bell somewhere. There's a bomb. And I'm surprisingly already at the end of the level. Also, there's just two fairies in the corners here. And here is Decoration Core Mark 2. So Decoration Core Mark 1 was the Stage 3 boss of Gokujo. Website from the late 1980s. Okay. Not sure what to make of that. And we have yet another rendition of Take Care from Parodius 2. Reference to Zex Zex. Yeah, that makes sense. I have Salamander Portable, which has Zex Zex on it, and I've never played it for longer than like 2 seconds. Okay, it's gonna do a kind of final suicide attack here. You just kind of debate it out like that. So, that's not necessarily a hard level, I just always have trouble with it. And again, it's probably just because of the character I use. So this is a fun level. It's a Lethal Enforcers based level. Whatever that game is, I'm not familiar with it. It's a high speed level, and your speed up level actually dictates how fast the screen scrolls. And in the PS1 and Saturn versions, you have gunmen firing at you the entire time. But they have terrible aim, so they're really easy to avoid. Reload. There's a second fairy in this level that I can never find the path to. Yeah, it's at the end of that corridor there, but I can never get to it. Wow, I actually got that fairy. I don't think I've ever gotten that as Sue before. You know, I have a... So the last part of this stage is completely different on the PS1 and Saturn. On the SNES, you fight the puzzle master from some Konami puzzle game that I can't remember the name of. It's still in this game, but it's moved to the next stage, and it's one of the worst bosses in the game. But instead, on this version, we have a slightly different boss, and by slightly, I mean completely differently. We have the cat train! If you thought the cat battleship was cool, here's just the cat train. This fight can actually be super chaotic when the rank is extremely high. So I'm gonna kind of sit at the front here, and I'm gonna be raining missiles down onto the mask. If you destroy the mask during this phase of the fight, you actually get 100,000 points. And with Sue, it's really only doable if you do it like this. There we go. It also lets you... And it's also helpful because you get a little bit of extra damage in before the next phase of the fight. Then we have, we get to actually fight the cat train itself with Flight of the Bumblebee, because, you know, it's Parodius, we have to have this song in there somewhere. Kind of fun level, but it can also be really, really hard, especially on high loops. And the aircraft carrier, you know what time it is. So the boss rush, the way they handled the boss rush for this version of the game compared to the SNES version is actually kind of weird. The boss attacks are all the same, they're just basically reskinned, and I did not want that. I did not want to pick up that white bell. Okay, it's gone now. Yeah, that's what the white bell does. It just lets you yell Japanese phrases. It's pretty much useless. So, on the SNES, this was just a regular big core, but now this is Wanjiro, and it's just some dog in a doghouse. Can't go wrong with that, I guess. And each of these bosses kind of has two phases. Makes a hilarious noise when you do damage to it. So someone with an understanding of Japanese and or Konami lore kind of try to explain to me what the heck this stage's theme is supposed to be, because I never understood it to this day. Also, this version being even more broken was where we get another one of these 6 bell dropping capsule things between every boss, so, you know, free 60,000 points right there. Alright. Another boss reskin. In SNES, this was a Horal Tempo Ghost, I think is what it was called, and now we have the Fighting Pen Claw. Again, I'm sure it makes more sense in, like, Japanese/Konami context, but I don't get it. So the blue orbs just kind of fly in one direction. The orange ones, it fires out rapidly, and then the red ones actually home in on you. Also, this boss is super annoying to do damage to, because it has bad invincibility frames and the hit detection with the laser doesn't like to work. Some shrooms and a lot of sake to understand this. Yeah, that's kind of what I think Konami was doing. They were on something. And we have the last boss, which is another reskin, but also a sort of redone version of a boss from the SNES port. It's the Puzzle Master. So, in the SNES port, this thing attacks you by throwing puzzle blocks like you in a very Tetris-like format, and if the rank is high enough, it'll literally just fill the screen with them. But in this version, it's just a reskin of Big Baron Bee and then a Black Twin Bee refight. And then the second phase is a little bit tricky. I'm actually not going to be shooting at it while it's firing the puzzle blocks because they split into pieces if you shoot them like that. Should be almost dead. There. Tyson Puzzle. Okay, and we're finally off to the final stage. So in the Parodius Da, the final stage was a recreation of Gradius 1's final stage. And Gokujo is a recreation of Gradius 2's final stage. And in this game, it's a recreation of Gradius 3 SNES's final stage, because let's just face it, the arcade Gradius 3's final stage is way too hard. Although the music in the stage, in my opinion, is subpar. It's also not exactly an exact recreation of the Gradius 3 SNES Stage 9. There's a few enemy layout changes. For example, these sections of subs are different. That bell's probably going to end up flying off screen. Yeah. There's a bunch of fairies there, and they're all really, really hard to get. that, I'm gonna try to get the laser out of this.
イエーイ予想外の展開です次は何が出てくるのか
Now, in Gradius 3, this is where you would fight Disrupt. We have the fish wall instead of a gun wall. And this is the perfect example of boss in quotation marks. Yeah, the Sue's laser just like devastates that boss. And then the second section is actually kind of hard. I'm gonna see. I probably wouldn't have been able to get a blue bell out of that.
狭いよイエーイ
There's another fairy in that section, but it's really, really hard to get to. It's really hard to get to both of them. So, this is where you should fight Shadow Gear, right? No! This is Parodius! We have Oh, yes! So, this is Chinchabintarika. You normally fight her when she's facing a right side up, but she can also be upside down. In fact, I've rarely ever seen this. She can also have her back facing to you. But also, and she's a lot faster, but if you just sit at the right side of the screen, you cheese the entire thing. Yeah. We're almost there.
いよいよ決戦の時が来ましたイエーイパーフェクト
So since I'm almost at the end of this game, I do want to ask RGL TV staff if it would be okay for me, like, I don't know like how we're doing like schedule-wise, but would it be okay for me to show off like the Omake stages combined? They would probably be like 8 or 9 minutes. And also, yeah, this is a final boss. And that's the entirety of the game, pretty much. Go for it. Alright. Well, first I'll show off this ending cutscene because, again, it's basically just ripping off Gokujo's ending cutscene, and it's amazing. Nice to meet you. I'll skip the credits, so even though the ending theme in this game is amazing. Just so I can get out of here quicker and loading screens because PlayStation loading. There we go. I wasn't entirely sure how to navigate the interface for this game. So let's start with Omake 1. I'll just do like one quick attempt at each of these stages. It's probably going to go really poorly. So I'm actually going to play as Suitsu, which is basically just Koitsu, but with a different name, and it's green. This is just a giant points-based stage, pretty much. This is not good because I normally don't want there to be these many bells on screen at once here. I'm actually gonna, you know, let's retry that. I want to get off to a better start than that. I did not do that as smartly as I should have. And that's why I have to start this out. I didn't care too much. So this stage has big bells hidden in a bunch of different locations. Also, each of the gears that these robots shoot out is 1,000 points, so you can kind of really farm from them. And we have monkeys. There's more coins here. So, in this stage, pink enemies will always drop power-up capsules, while the orange enemies will actually always drop bells. A distinction that is very important right here. I'm gonna grab a blue bell here just because I think it might be helpful in this next section. So in this section, you'll notice there's a lot of coins, but there's also a lot of enemies that are like in these bubbles things. So destroying the enemies is just, you know, destroying the enemies, but you can also touch them, and they give you a bunch of score bonus. This section is really good to have a red bell, because you can just keep it on top of those things forever. Oh wait, that's bad. Yeah. This is not going the way I wanted it to. See that little doll there? I touch it instead of just destroying it. It gives me 100,000 points. And the same applies to all these other things. But it's kind of tricky to do because, you know, you need to also shoot in order to actually get through this part. Right, I would use that. Those mini capsule monster cappuccinos, by the way, those are roulettes. Those are basically just like an infinite source of roulettes. I am stupid. If you want to see madness, there's actually a task of this stage by a Lucky Star Kid that manages to get a whopping, like, 21 billion points at the end, but it's just absolutely nuts, and I have no idea what the upper limit on this is. Yeah, we have this tiny little zap rush. Are you kidding me? And then this is the boss. Okay, I'm actually stupid. So in the task that I was referring to earlier, they just farm this boss for like 5 minutes and just constantly use purple bells. In case you can't tell, this stage is absolutely horrible to try and optimize. Alright, let's do this. Whatever. You get the idea. Nice sound effect during the fade out. Yeah, that's like barely. Oh, I still somehow got 5 million points. Okay. So that's Omake 1. Yeah. One of these days I'll actually go for an insane score on that, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare to grind for. Another long loading time. 2 of them back to back. Alright, the next one, the other stage is a lot shorter.
Menu だよ。何しようかな。どっちやろうかな。
So here we have a race. And unlike the other modes, here it's time you're concerned about. So we are actually going to be speedrunning here. It's possible to get a start boost there, but I don't know how to do it consistently. So once again, the more speed ups you have, the faster you go. There's also a bunch of bosses that are designed to slow you down. There's a bunch of enemies in your path. There's sand patches that actually slow you down. A lot of really sharp turns. Oh wow, I didn't realize I was colliding. So on the PSP version, even though I think this is an original track, they also replaced this song on the PSP version that was made for Parodius Portable. And goal. So I'm pretty sure with like a super amazing run you could get like under a minute, but you know, that would require a bunch of practice. And that's Jikkyou Oshaberi Parodius. That's pretty much all that game has to offer. So thanks RGL TV for letting me show off those 2 games as well. I don't really have that many more games to show off on this channel, but hopefully I'll find some. And yeah, thanks for having me.